All right, I'm going to call the meeting of the Essex Junction City Council to order for September 24th. The first item on the agenda is any agenda additions or changes. Regina?
None for me.
Council?
Nope.
Can I take 1 second to get a heads up from Elaine that she can hear us?
Absolutely.
I can hear you and I can see you.
Super, great.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Elaine. All right, no need to approve the agenda, so then we're going to move into public to be heard. I am going to keep any public comments to 2 minutes, which is our standard, just because we have a tight schedule tonight to allow for the public forum at time certain at 7:20. So you can certainly come back if 2 minutes is not enough, but I got to keep us on schedule tonight. So anyone who has public comments, come on up to the table. You're going to have to use your mic right there, though.
I will try.
And make sure you introduce yourself before.
My name is Joe Cutterly. I've lived in the village and now city of Essex Junction for 18 years. So I have a little bit of a beef, I guess, with the city. But I'll preface it with I do want to thank, I think we traded some text back and forth, Amber. I spoke to Brian. Elaine and I also chatted, and Regina and I also chatted. And there was a nice gentleman at the front who got the brunt of my frustration. I can't remember his name. But here's my issue. I mailed my city taxes on the 6th of September, and as I've done for the past 18 years or so that I've lived here, and apparently they didn't arrive to the city office until I believe it was the 16th or 17th of September, and I received the pink reddish threatening, "You've mailed your taxes in late" letter, and so it was concerning to me. So I learned now, after speaking to some of the folks at the office here and also speaking with some of the counselors, that once we incorporated into the city, we changed from previous, I guess, kind of standards of accepting postmarked mail. That was always done when we were town and village. It's still actually done in the town. And I think it needed a kind of actual action by the city council or somebody within the municipality here to actually kind of put that into kind of our standards. And I would love to see that get pulled back. I'd love to see us move back to not or accepting things that are postmarked. Just talking with people that work in a county and in different offices, that gives some accountability. I mean, it's kind of a he said, kind of, or they said. I don't know if your office, I mean, I've heard Susan and her folks that work in the treasurer's office are wonderful, but I don't know when they received my check. Did they drop it and lose it and pick it up 2 or 3 days later? With a postmark, there's some accountability. And I'll also say, I mean, I heard, you can drop it down here 8 to 4:30. The problem is if you work Monday through Friday during that time, you can't really come. You can pay online, but then you have a couple different fees you have to pay. So it makes it very inconvenient, and especially we all know the mail is slow, and I should have taken that into my mind. But again, 18 years, I kind of am on autopilot almost with my taxes. And I think it's almost negligent to say, hey, one of the options is to mail in your check. And I even heard from some folks in the city that you've had things that are up to a month delayed in terms of postmark to when it arrives. So that doesn't even give you enough time to mail in your taxes from when you receive your bill. So I think we just need to be very careful with that. The last thing I'll say,
I'm going to ask you to wrap it up, Joe, if you can make it very quick, because you're already over 2 minutes. Please.
Okay.
You can certainly stick around for the public forum portion, but I got to get through the rest of the business.
Okay, I mean, I'm just a little frustrated by how kind of binary this has become. It's either that or that. I heard about another entity within Essex Junction that had a different reason that their taxes were late. It was Global Foundries. They had a $90,000 late fee, and that was because they wrote Village of Essex Junction on the check. I mean, I could think of my neighbor, 92-year-old neighbor, writing Village of Essex Junction that she's written for the last 50 years. We're neighbors. We know each other. Let's not make it so binary that if you spell Essex wrong, we're denying your check, and you're going to get $90,000 in late fees or $250 in late fees like I got. And that's all I'm asking. I mean, I think this can be changed, and I think we can hopefully go back to what we had.
Appreciate the comments. Thank you for coming and giving the comments tonight. And again, feel free to stick around for the public to be heard section, which is going to be at 7:20.
Can I clarify one piece though? Because I just wanted to, because you gave, you just rallied off a number of options in order to turn in your payment. One of the things that you said was about dropping it off. My understanding is that we have the box outside, and that box is accessible 24/7. So you can drop it in that box. So I just want to make you aware of it.
The problem is the accountability error. I would not trust that I put that in there, that somebody would now retrieve it and not stuff it under their desks.
Totally understand.
It's to the best interest in terms of fiscal sense for the city to take every fifth letter that comes in and put it aside and say, you're late, you're late.
Yeah, this wasn't debate. I just wanted to make sure that I at least acknowledged it, because for people who are listening, I wanted them to be aware that that was an option available to them. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really, you missed the part, but I'm really trying to keep us on track because we have that 7:20, so just make it quick.
Understood. And sorry, I missed your testimony for going to the wrong door. I don't know if anybody mentioned this, and maybe you mentioned it in your testimony, Joe, but some bank bill payment systems have a policy that if a payment is late and it's their fault, which from the story you told me on the phone, it sounds like this is, that they will pay the late fees. I know Easterises used to work that way unless it was a government payment, so it wouldn't apply this way. I also am pretty sure they've changed that. So, but I don't know where you bank, but it might be worth. I don't want to get into what is or isn't state law, but that might be an option for you.
I'm trying abatement, don't know if that's going to work, but
Yep.
we'll see what happens.
That is the right avenue. Thank you. All right, Charlie.
Amber,
Yeah, sorry, Elaine.
sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to address one thing that Mr. Cutterly said. The Global Foundries late fee, they were not charged a late fee because they wrote the check to the village. They were charged a late fee because they were late in paying their taxes. And I really just wanted to clear that up. We would not be that arbitrary and binary, as he put it, in assessing a fee for a misspelling. Okay,
Yeah,
not true.
yeah.
So can I ask, were they late in the same manner that I was late?
No, late for different reasons.
Yeah. For different reasons.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All right, Charlie, you are up. Your annual report and presentation from CCRPC.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us
My pleasure.
in the newly renovated
I
to
know.
Lincoln.
It's very exciting. Nice to get that new carpet smell. New paint, I'm not sure what it is. But,
Probably a combination.
yeah, thank you. Charlie Baker, for the record, Executive Director of the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission. Here to do my annual customer service call with you. You got a report in your packet. I'll just review that real quickly and pause at a few points to see if you have any feedback or questions or comments for me. The first page of the report gives you some background on the RPC and the makeup of our board and how we take city dollars and town dollars from our municipal members and leverage that to bring in federal and state resources to the county. That was around $600,000 of local money, brought in about $7.6 million of federal and state money. And then also to thank you for your representatives on our board and committees. I know this is, Kristen, it's last year FY25 reps. Thank you for the new appointment for FY26. And thank you to Chris and Chelsea in particular for their active participation in our committees. Appreciate it. And on the second page are the beginning of all the things that we did with the city last year. Some scoping at Pearl Street, stormwater work, the TOD master planning, a variety of technical assistance. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on any of those, but happy to get any feedback or questions on any of those projects that we worked specifically with the city on.
You guys have any
Hopefully.
questions? Elaine? Nope.
Any feedback? All right.
Oh.
Everything went okay?
Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I got some feedback. Thank you. And the one thing I didn't mention, of course, was the working through the land use mapping that we were required to do as part of our regional plan. And so appreciate the city working with us as we were kind of on a time frame, and it was challenging for all the parties involved, but thank you for your patience and perseverance through that process. And then the next section of the report details projects that you have in this year's work program, helping with your comprehensive plan, some pedestrian crossing conceptual planning on Pearl Street, GIS services, and more stormwater inspection work. Hopefully that's all going okay so far. And then you do have a couple projects that were in the capital program and in our transportation improvement program. I think Crescent Connector done now, right? Or all done?
There's not a.
95?
Yeah,
Almost, huh?
yeah. Maybe 90,
So close.
95 to 98.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe closer to 98.
Well, all right. Hope springs eternal. It will be done very soon. And then I know you had the Amtrak train station. Glad to see that is somewhere in the program and hopefully moving forward now. So thank you for your work on that. And that's obviously important to the whole region. So thank you for that. And then the last couple pages are regional activities that we've worked on last year without regard to any specific municipality. The regional plan, of course, a lot of community engagement, and a lot of that extra. We did a lot more engagement work than we typically have done, including trying to reach underrepresented communities. And so that was just a lot in those first couple of major bullets there. Housing work, energy work, stormwater, a lot of a variety of transportation work. So again, I'm not going to read all those in detail, but do let me know if you have any feedback or questions on any of those regional activities.
I do have one quick question.
Sure.
Just some insight actually from on the housing work that you did. From the standpoint of, again, we've already acknowledged the struggles that we as a community have, municipality have to get to hit our targets and all that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, are we the only one? Are we one of many? I mean, how many communities are struggling or will be struggling to get anywhere close?
Depending on how you think about the range of targets, at the high end, I'm going to say 100%. At the low end, I'm hoping it's closer to 0%. Because if you remember that housing target conversation, we got from the state a low target and a high target. Mm-hmm. The low target is really pretty much the trend of what's happening in Chittenden County. So I'm hoping it's close to 0% that we can meet the low end number.
Okay.
The high end, I mean, is almost triple kind of what's been happening. That I expect, I would be surprised if any town or city is able to reach that high-end target. And frankly, as we've been, kind of talking with the different staff in the cities and the boards and commissions, I think my sense right now is that we kind of really shoot towards the middle of that target. I mean, it was a big range. It was like countywide. I think the number was like 15,000 to 45,000, over the next 25 years. 15,000 is kind of the pace we're on. But my sense is that people are kind of shooting for 30,000, which would be kind of double what has been happening. And that's 30,000 over 25 years, which is, from my sense of having been in areas that had, higher growth rates and lower growth rates, does seem achievable. One of the challenges, I know the governor continues to talk about the 40,000, I think it's 40,000 by 2030. Mm-hmm. That would be a lot.
Yeah.
And would be amazing if we got anywhere close to that. But, I appreciate that the state is trying to do more things. And partly I'm kind of obliquely referencing the governor came out with an executive order a couple days ago to try to push more housing production. So anyway, I don't think we'll get close to that 40,000 in 5 years statewide. But I do think the middle of the target that we got handed does seem somewhat reasonable, although maybe straining, stretching I'm going to say all of our capacities, whether we're talking about infrastructure or permitting processes or you name it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Is that helpful? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very much.
Any other questions, feedback? Yeah, I expect we'll continue to keep talking about those. Yeah, and we should be getting, we're going to start getting annual reports from the state about how much got produced statewide, which we've never really gotten before. So that'll start to get interesting to see how those reports come out.
I think I did read the executive order the other day, but I think some of it was also like monthly reports too that were supposed to be coming out. Again, whether the executive order itself gets challenged in court, still to be determined, but that would be helpful too, just to have more of those like in time,
Yep.
reports that are coming out.
Absolutely. Yeah, and thank you for all your efforts on it. I think, from my view, I think the city has really been stepping up to the challenge, and I appreciate that.
Tim, any questions
I
for
don't
Charlie?
have anything for Charlie. I think they're doing a great job.
Elaine,
Yeah.
any questions for Charlie?
No, I'm good at the moment. Thank you, Charlie, for everything.
Good to see you. Thank you much. Appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for stopping and saying hi.
Yeah, and thank you for your partnership and also from your staff. Really, I think been working very well together. Appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you for all the help. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
All right. Have
Have a good night.
Speaking of which, he's up next.
Before you start, Chris, I just want to say, Risa, I saw that your hand was up, and my apologies as I saw it was up as we started with Charlie. Are you okay to wait until the public forum at 7:20?
I am. Thank
Okay.
you, though.
Don't lose your question. Write it down.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure. I'm Chris Ewan, Community Development Director, and I'm here to provide the annual updates on what my department has been up to. So there is already a pretty good summary in the memo. I'm only going to go over the key highlights here and save some time for questions. Again, I break this down in terms of the 6-month look back into a bunch of categories over here. Land use planning is, I think first and foremost one of the biggest things that's community development is in charge of. And first thing we did, if you remember, is that we worked through the implementation of the 2025 Land Development Code amendments. These were technical amendments that also did a lot in terms of enabling missing middle housing. We've been working through Connect the Junction, the transit-oriented development plan, and we've been deep in public engagement throughout this summer. Transportation planning, in terms of that field, we've been working on the multimodal, the scoping study for the multimodal improvements on Pearl Street. This is between Susie Wilson Road and West Street Extension. That is a topic we're gonna, that's on your agenda. I will go over some of what's been discussed so far after this. We've also been recently working on the traffic calming policy and making an update, major revision to that. Still in draft form, still open for feedback, but we'll be ready to be back within the next month or so. We've been collaborating with the Bike Walk Advisory Committee as well on several smaller but important projects. Rapid flashing beacons on main streets at Athens. Some quick build improvements, curb extensions at the intersection of Lincoln Terrace and School Street. Some of you may see that when you're walking around just that way. We've also been working with Public Works and also some private commercial property owners on adding new bike racks at high demand locations. And empirical evidence shows that it's been quite successful. We've chosen locations that are highly trafficked. We have been working to secure several grants, including a $200,000 downtown transportation fund grant. This is in addition to the downtown transportation fund grant that was already awarded for Main Street Park. This one is for the Amtrak station to help with the local match part of that, or the non-federal match part of that. $30,000 municipal planning grants for the comprehensive plan update, and also a Vermont Arts Council grants for the mural project at the fire station. We have been also working through preliminary design and public engagements for Amtrak, the Amtrak station. Continue to work on Main Street Park. We're aiming for going out to bid in the start of next year during the low season of bidding. And we've been continuing with the development review as usual. I would say that our development review volumes have been relatively low this year in terms of number of new housing units that's received site plan approval. However, there's a lot of stuff underway right now, and we've issued certificates of occupancies for several projects, including one of the buildings at Autumn Pond, Riverside by the Village, and also the hotel at I think it's actually 98 Pearl Street. I might be off by a number over here. We've been trying to work through, be creative with public engagement. And we've been very active this summer, but we've been trying to do more beyond the usual public meetings. So we have taken part in 2 Junction City news segments, also held outreach at in-person at events such as July 4th, National Night Out. We've just gone out to Maple Street Park at one of the some busy times over there during the summer. We've been at the Rotary Club, and we've also done some targeted outreach to renters who we often find it difficult to hear from and difficult to reach through our traditional means. So we've actually held 2 ice cream social style events at apartment buildings along Pearl Street. It's been quite successful. We have continued with our enforcement practices to prioritize issues that affect safety and affect a lot of people. There's been work to address some issues of junk accumulation in some kind of visible areas. Railroad Avenue behind that, there's been some challenges with that, but we've kind of worked through it. And there was actually some complex property boundary issues over there that we had to really investigate to find out who's legally responsible and how to make sure everybody understood what the responsibilities were. But the outcomes were good, and I mean, it is much better now. We've been continuing with regional coordination. I am on the Planning Advisory Committee and the Transportation Advisory Committee at the CCRPC, and my work there has helped to shape the regional housing targets and also the future land use map. There's one of the regional projects going on right now is also the Regional Transportation Safety Action Plan, and there's been, I've had some impact on what's going into that and how it'll impact the city. So looking forward, I think we're looking to kind of wrap up many of these projects that have been started last year, including Connect the Junction. I think we'll get to a final product towards the end of this calendar year. Might slip into the start of next, but the consultant will be back with final recommendations, including a set of code updates that the city can then take and implement in the future. The comprehensive plan is something that we're gonna have to get started because the current one is going to be due in it's gonna expire in just under 2 years. We've also started working with several other municipalities on an infill housing initiative, and also this is in collaboration with Burlington, Winooski, and South Burlington. We've noticed that we've all gone through recent zoning reforms, and that there's some shared resources we could work on. I think I'll leave it at that right now. In terms of looking forward and what to be aware of, I think the department has been has taken on quite a bit in the past years, and even though now we're at we have 3 people instead of 2, I think our responsibilities have really grown, and I would have to say we're probably at or a little bit over capacity in terms of what we can comfortably and reasonably achieve right now without dropping a ball on something. So it's something to be aware of in terms of our staffing needs. But yeah, let me leave it at that in case you have any questions.
Questions? Go ahead.
So I have 2 questions. One, I'd like to understand, when you talk about the enforcement efforts, what does that look like for your department? Is that an active activity, or is that something still complaint-based that we're addressing as they get brought up? And then the other is, in your comment concerning the capacity, I'm curious if you can make a judgment call on, like, if you were to staff at the appropriate level for the work that you're being asked to do, is that half of a more person, or is that 1 person? Is it 15? I just want to understand, like, at what capacity are we talking about here? Or are you just riding that borderline? I kind of want to understand it.
Well, let me answer the first question first, the one about enforcement. There has been no major change in our practices since the last time I've spoken with the City Council. We are largely complaints-based, but there are certain issues that we take proactive action on. There was a sign enforcement campaign that we had done a while back. It was a low-hanging fruit. It was something that had come up several times, and we just drove down Pearl Streets and kind of got a hold of all the businesses that had non-compliant signs. We haven't done that again. I mean, there are some there's other issues that we've been a little bit more proactive on. That's been related to the accumulation of junk and what the health officer has been up to in terms of ensuring we'll get a handle on this current rat issue. But yeah, it's mostly complaints based, and it continues to be that way. In terms of your second question, I think it depends on what is being asked. I think I don't think I'm being asked an unreasonable amount of work right now, but there are plenty of initiatives in the strategic plan, and I know there's a lot of initiatives in the list that's if we were to try to address, if we wanted more committees, if my department is to staff a housing committee, for example, or a downtown committee, if we were to then also take a more active role in enforcement and to pursue more cases to the end, which also includes litigation, it would very easily be another full-time person.
So let me ask you as a follow-up to that then. So thinking about what you just said and how you describe the work that's being done in the department, so I think then I hear a few different potential buckets of responsibility that are kind of happening in your department right now. So whether it's the enforcement piece, whether it's the zoning, planning, that piece, working with developers, following up on the all that side of the house. And then right now, because of the level of work that's being done out of your department, especially focused on major infrastructure projects and things of that nature, that outreach has become a more significant responsibility in your department. So in thinking about these things, is there one that you think is taking up more time or that could use more support than another responsibility?
I think it's spread quite equally between all these projects that I've mentioned right now. There is not one piece that if it was handed off or we received a little bit more support, we would be in great shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for Chris?
Would now be an appropriate time to ask on how the Main Street Pocket Park is coming?
Sure.
Well, you kind of did.
Great. I think you did.
Can we get an update on where we're at with the park, Chris? The Main Street Park?
Yeah,
Is
we're
there-
proceeding with some technical design details right now. We're aiming for going out to bid at the start of next year. So that's why the construction documents are not quite finished at this point. There's some issues with utilities that we're trying to work out, and the shade sail bases, and making sure that the ground disturbance is limited to not create an expensive problem with the contaminated soils.
Awesome. I just figured while you were here, I would ask.
Appreciate
That's
that.
all. Yeah. Look, seen the rat problem. I know that's a great one for John. Been chasing around.
Literally.
Yeah.
Chris, you mentioned that the train station project is moving along. Can you remind me, for my poor memory, what are we yet at a stage where we've gotten the federal match, or we still have work to do there?
No, we have submitted the documentation necessary for federal grants obligation. We are waiting for.
Okay. So we've got-
I have been told by the FRA that it is probably safe to assume that we'll hear back by the end of the year, or the end of the calendar year.
Fair enough. And it remains the opinion of you and your department that we've done our part to qualify for that.
No, yes, there's pre-award authority, which allows us to move on with some of this preliminary design work. The consultant is moving along with that right now and progressing towards 30% design, but it has not gotten there yet. I mean, we've done one round of public outreach, and there was a public meeting earlier this month about that.
Fair enough. Very clarifying. Thank you.
Elaine, do you have any questions for Chris?
I'm all set. Just want to add my voice to saying well done. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, don't go anywhere because you get to talk to us about Pearl Street.
Right. I'm just trying to join the Zoom meeting so I can
There you go.
Sure.
Okay.
put something on the screen. But Regina, if you could give me a screen sharing ability, that would be great.
We have all the technology now that we're back at home.
Let me know when you think it's gonna work. No,
I
hit
think
the
I
button.
just did it.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. So this is about the Pearl Street. The subject here is it says road diet. This is much more than road diet. There are a lot of public benefits from this project, but there have been some for quite a while. There's been contemplation that there needs to be some changes made to Pearl Streets between Susie Wilson Road and West Street Extension. It is in the capital plan to do something over here. This is the only piece of the road that feels like a highway, functions like a highway, but you've actually entered the city, and it doesn't. The looks of the street and the function of the street does not match what it probably needs to be. So there was some work done in the past, but I noticed that there needed to be some major changes to the plan in order to be financially feasible, and there were also some blind spots in terms of what was included in the plan that I'm hoping could be addressed here. I'll go over some of the slides here. These slides were kind of reused from the public meeting on August 7th. So it's a little long, but I'll not go over all the details here. But please feel free to stop me if you have any questions along the way.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Chris, but what's that arrow?
Sorry, what was that?
What's that arrow? Going to the middle.
That arrow is a
From-
north arrow. It is a little bit strange that it is like
Living
that.
up there.
That makes more sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so in 2018, there was a scoping study. The trustees at the time had selected a preferred alternative this is a new alternative that City Council can now consider in addition to the previous alternatives. I had also gone to consultants to update the cost estimates from the previous studies. So this is what the street currently looks like. This is just a there should be a line over here. There's a little bit of complication in terms of where the municipal boundaries lie. The next version of this one, the final version of this will show that the town of Essex boundaries, which kind of cuts they own the southern half of the first little bit of Pearl Street over here. I think it's about 400 or 500 feet for the inbound lanes. So those are in their jurisdiction. Everything else is a Class 1 road under Essex Junction jurisdiction. Currently, there's a 45-mile-an-hour speed limits, just like the road west of there. So the purpose and need statement. This is just a statement that goes over why we're doing this. My reason for why I brought this up to be reconsidered was largely because of cost. We wanted to make sure that there's an alternative that can fit within the available budgets, the municipal budgets of $1.23 million. That's in the capital plan, while still delivering the multimodal benefits, and also extending the benefits to public transit. So in terms of multimodal benefits, yes, this is a gap. There's a gap in the bike lane network between the on-street bike lanes from City Center to West Street Extension, and then the shared use path that continues on after that to St. Mike's. Right now, people basically have to ride on a sidewalk. But in terms of transit improvements, this section of road has three bus stops in the westbound directions and 0 in the eastbound direction, which means you can, if you live there and you work at UVM Health or Medical Center or something, you can take the bus to work, but you can't go home. So, I mean, in reality, people just walk further, but it's quite a bit further. And this is the reason why there is no bus stop right now is because there is no sidewalk on the south side, and there is no safe way to cross. Okay, so the purpose and need statement. This was the first draft that the consultant had come up with at the public meeting. It was brought up that public transit access should be directly mentioned over here. So that's what the final version will say. So in 2018, there were several alternatives that were considered. One of them looked kind of like this. It was to add a shared use path on the north side and to convert the 2 lanes in each direction to 1 lane in each direction, and to add a buffered bike lane throughout this corridor. Towards Susie Wilson Road, it would still retain its the 4-lane cross section. This alternative would keep the median in place, and the median is an important distinction and something to really understand, because right now, if you live along any of these live at any of these properties, to drive into the city center, you have to go. You have to turn right and turn around with a jug handle at Susie Wilson Road. If you're coming from the other direction, if you're coming from the Burlington direction and you're trying to go home there, you have to kind of drive around. So this was one of the alternatives, and there was another alternative that ended up being the preferred alternative at the time. So this was called Alternative 3 at the time. 3 lanes, no median. There's a left turn lane for the eastbound direction, no median, so you could just kind of drive directly into any of those driveways and come out and be able to turn left. This also included a shared use path on the north side, and I think it says 8-foot sidewalk here, but they actually mean shared use path. This was an asphalt path that you're allowed to bike on, and there's still the on-street bike lanes for the faster cyclists. But I think just like the other alternative, the real reason why it was put there was probably to serve a road diet function, so that you don't have the ability for drivers to go full speed, just like it is right now at 45 miles an hour, when there's a desire to reduce the speed limit over here. Yeah, so the new alternative is quite similar to the alternative that leaves the median in. We keep the existing curbs to save costs. There's a 10-foot separated shared use path, and there is one new eastbound transit stop to be added. So yeah, the existing 2-lane westbound roadway would be reduced to 1 lane with a buffered bike lane, and the adjacent sidewalk is converted to the 10-foot shared use path. So yeah, and in the eastbound direction, it would be the roadway would mostly be maintained as is, except for narrowing to 1 lane about partway through to accommodate the bus stop and a mid-block crossing. This is what the cross section would look like, and the top version over here is where the bus stop would be, and the bottom version is kind of further along, closer to West Street. And an overhead view. This is an overhead view of what that would look like if you kind of zoom into what's into the area where there would be a bus stop. This is what it would look like. So I think the one thing to know over here is that it narrows, like this road over here narrows down from 2 lanes to 1 lane and allows a bus to stop. I mean, does that sound crazy? Well, some people might say yes. But actually, like, this is necessary as a part of the cost savings to make this possible. We don't want to move so many curbs. And also, one thing to consider is that this is an eastbound. This stop will mostly be used for bus drop-offs, not pickups. So the dwell times are a little bit lower. Unfortunately, when a bus is stopped here, there will be some vehicles. The vehicles behind it will be kind of temporarily corked. This road will just be kind of stopped until that bus is ready to move again. So that's something to really be aware of. But as a result of this narrowing, you're only crossing 1 lane at a time as a pedestrian. And with the in the westbound direction, with the addition of that on-street buffered bike lane, yeah, you only have to cross 1 vehicle lane. The proposal is also to reduce the speed limit to 30 miles an hour to match the speed limit further east of West Street Extension. So, yeah, with a rapid flashing beacon, this would probably be a relatively easy place to cross the road. Again, if you have any questions along the way, please chime in. This slide is about the projected cost.
Chris, can I ask a question before you move on to this slide?
Yep.
Can you talk about how this is going to impact fair traffic?
Is obviously mostly constant. Like the issues that you get with fair traffic largely has to do with the bottlenecks further east of here. Unless those bottlenecks are kind of relieved, there will always be a backup into this area. So this area would kind of serve as car storage. Right now, there's 2 lanes of queuing that's available over here. through I think during the busiest fair times, the cones that are temporarily put out there start part way through. You'd have to start probably with that arrangement a little bit past this this mid-block crossing and the transit stop, but most of the time it shouldn't be very different because whatever temporary arrangement that Essex Police Department needs to do to let traffic through over here, it can still be implemented once you get to the area that has the 2 eastbound lanes.
So reducing the westbound lane to 1 lane until you get closer to the stoplight at Susie Wilson, you don't expect that to make the traffic stack further back into further back towards the fairgrounds?
I can't tell you definitively in terms of what happens during the peak of the peak during the fair, but Stantec is doing some traffic analysis to make sure that on typical busy days there should be this will have enough queuing capacity. But I can also anecdotally tell you that the limiting factor in terms of the westbound direction is the Susie Wilson light. Like most of the time it's red when you're approaching from the westbound direction. So you need to have enough queuing capacity to make a full use of a green cycle. But beyond that, there's no change to that bottleneck in the westbound direction.
Okay, thank you.
Brian has a question, but I just want to do a time check at 7:16. We're at 7:20. We're supposed to move over to public forum, so just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. Go ahead.
Elaine, was your question about eastbound or westbound? Because that changes what I wanted to ask Chris.
It was about westbound.
Okay, because I mean, like the main going down to 1 lane eastbound is mostly irrelevant because it's fundamentally 1 lane now anyway. No one's passing eastbound between Susie Wilson and West Street Extension now, right? Because the funnels in are 1 lane each.
Yes,
right?
I understand that. No,
thank you, Elaine. I was double checking with Chris. He's nodding.
That's correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elaine.
Thanks. Okay. Anybody else before okay, keep going. Chris.
Okay. In terms of the projected cost, there was these costs that were previously reported have been adjusted to $2025. The preferred alternative that was previously chosen now would cost over $4 million. There's actually an add-on that was endorsed as well, which is between Ethan Allen Avenue and Susie Wilson Road, just having an on-street eastbound bike lane. I mean, it could be thought of as an independent project, but it was meant to be implemented at the same time. It's kind of outside of the city's jurisdiction, but this was meant to kind of all work together. That would be another $388,000. So yeah, that's clearly beyond what the city has available, and it's also beyond what the VTrans bike and pedestrian grants tend to offer. And those grants, by the way, are federal pass-through and currently bike and pedestrian projects, especially if you're technically reducing lane capacity at certain parts of the road are very difficult to get right now. This updated alternative 2 comes in at just under $1 million, which would be within what should be possible. So why did we only look at an alternative that removes a median? No, I mean that keeps a median in place. It's because removing the median alone would cost more than what the city has available. So that's why the consultants had focused on updating an alternative that just tries to leave more as much of the curb in place as possible. I think this is just something about the mid-block crossing. These slides about how it could be made safe. There's a kind of a jog in the middle to point you towards the traffic that's coming. With the reduction in speed limits and with the fact that you're only crossing 1 lane at once, it should be very much workable. And this alternatives comparison slide just kind of goes through a multiple account evaluation of these alternatives. By all accounts, this revised alternative kind of does better for bikes and for transit access, for safety. Actually, leaving the median in actually is probably a little bit safer than taking it out. It makes it a little bit less complicated. The one thing that's not on this chart that really should be understood is that it leaves a median, and so vehicular access between those properties and the city center is better with the kind of more the expensive alternative 3 from 2018. I think that's all I need to share at this moment. So I'm happy to take any questions.
And you're just giving us kind of like where we're at this point. What do you, what do you need from us? This is the question.
This is actually just for information at this moment. The this has already gone through a commenting phase for the public and for the planning commission. Some technical work is being done to refine this alternative, and Stantec will be back and will present the final reports to the city council for endorsement by the end of this calendar year.
Okay, cool. Anybody have any questions? Tim? No? Elaine? Good? Okay. We're good. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. We're only a minute over. We are cruising. Okay, so we're going to move into the public forum portion. And Risa, I promise you can go first, seeing that I missed you earlier.
Thank you, Amber. Two things, because the earlier one I need to say.
Yep.
I also noticed with paying taxes, and it's all based on the postal service. I didn't receive my tax bill for 5 days later than everybody was saying, oh my God, my taxes. And so when it came to paying it, I do my banking mostly online, and I didn't do it fast enough. When I had 10 days, which I thought was going to be fine, and my bank couldn't promise me it was going to get to you in time. So I thought, well, okay, I'll either drop it in the Dropbox, or if I can walk it in, I'll walk it in. I walked it in, which was nice because I got to see the new city hall and got to deal. The whole thing took just a couple of minutes, if that long.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt for one quick second because we're having a little trouble hearing you. So can you pause 1 second?
Of course.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Sounds like we just need a little more projection, Risa, if that's possible.
I'll try.
Awesome.
That works. Right there.
Yes, I'm old. I liked always knowing that postmark was what ruled the world. It ruled the world with our taxes, our income taxes. It ruled the world with everything we're paying. And now no one even looks at postmark. And what I find a little interesting is I get mail maybe once a week if I'm lucky. I mean, they say I have everything. I have things every day, but if I get delivery once a week, it's exciting. And so often the items aren't even postmarked. The stamp is there. It's just gone right through. So I clearly understand wanting postmark to rule things. But if the post office isn't even bothering, then I don't know what options we have. As some of you have heard me say before, when we talked about city governance, that I come from a place that was a very small city and didn't have a mayor. We had a city council and a manager. And they were adamant about that the entire time I was growing up, and still because they didn't want politics to be to determine who is working in our offices, because a mayor is going to need to hire their cronies. And who I always use as an example is Susan McNamara, because if we lose her, like, there's no point in staying in Vermont. We have the best clerk, I think, in the state. You know, I also think we have the best library, but you know, Susan McNamara Hill is phenomenal. I've never felt that there was any concern about how they receive things, when they receive things. I hear and understand the concern about fines, especially when you do pay your taxes with what should be plenty of time. But I've never been concerned about leaving my ballots in the drop box. And I take voting seriously. So it's a tough one. And I think that the onus is really more on the post office and, how long it takes banks to get things done. So that's that part that I had my hand up for earlier. Now, thank you for having this public forum again. This is a really great thing because it gives residents a chance to not only share what we're thinking, but to talk to you because you respond. I get that during public to be heard, it is not intended as a discussion. Having these discussions is phenomenal. And I hope that you, as you can, fit them in as often as possible. I think it's a great way for you to know us and for us to know you, and for things to be heard and understood. Listening to Chris's presentation, there's a part of me that thinks, I remember 2018. In those days, we had high hopes that we were going to have much more bus service. We thought that bus service was really going to be coming at us from all different angles. And now, we don't even know if we're going to keep the buses that we have, and it's nothing that we have control over. But I think of, I think of when I'm coming back home on Pearl Street and I pass by Fanny Allen and I get to Susie Wilson, and I immediately, as soon as I can, when I cross, I get into the left-hand lane. And at least 7 out of 10 times that I have been there, which is, I don't know, a couple of times a week, there is some Yahoo in the right-hand lane who speeds, goes up to West Street, does a quick U so that they can cut ahead of the line who are going straight. And I really fear what will happen if we've just got one lane there. It's a little scary. So as we get further into what's going on really now, not in 2018, but in 2025, and as we try and look forward, I wish we can keep all of that in mind. It's bizarre to me. I don't know if it's always the same person. I definitely understand that somebody who lives in the acres suddenly goes, oh my goodness, I forgot, I have to go to Essex Junction Market. But for it to happen so often, it's just a lot. So that's it. Thank you. And again, thank you for doing these public forums. I think that they're really helpful.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming for sure. And I think the goal is to keep trying to do it. It's we were able to do this tonight just because we had a shorter meeting. But I think they're just coming up as they're coming up, and there's really no yep, sounds good today. So there's no warnings. You got to look at an agenda every week. Sorry, but appreciate the thoughts.
That affects Teresa not at all.
No, she's reading. She's reading them. Is there anybody else online that would like to have some comments or questions for the council? Please raise your hand if you do. And there's nobody in the room, just so everybody knows that, back in Zoom world. All right. Does anybody else have anything before I? Doesn't look like we have any other public comment, so I will move on to the consent agenda.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
You guys want to arm wrestle over it?
No,
or-
Brian can have it.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Elaine. All right, that passes. Then we've got council member comments and city manager report. Regina.
So I just want to point out there are a number of things in the reading file that give a bit more information on events that we are having, projects that we are doing, and input that we are seeking. And on Saturday, the 27th, you can kind of do all of the things collectively at one time. You can come and hang out with folks on Meet Me on Main from 4 to 7, and then also stay later for a movie if you would like to do that. Last Saturday was the first one, and it was really, really awesome and fun. EJRP did just an amazing job with it, and so hopefully more folks can come and check it out. Also, you could visit the rebranding booth, so you can give us some feedback on what you think about that work. There is also a rebranding survey that you can see in the reading file if you would like to participate in the rebranding process through that survey. Also on Saturday, and an available survey, you can give us your feedback on the Connect the Junction project. So really, that project is looking at the vision of the developed land area in the city going forward. When you see a building going up, it's too late to participate at that time. Now is the time to participate in this project. We will be out on Main Street with that project on Saturday. We will also be in this conference room at 2 Lincoln on Saturday to get feedback on that. And there is a survey out there as well that you can take a look at and provide input into. Also on Saturday, you can come through and get a tour of this building at 2 Lincoln. We will be open from 4 to 7 for folks to come through and take a tour. And if you want to come to the official ribbon cutting ceremony for 2 Lincoln, that is at 10 a.m. on Friday, the 26th. And we will also be doing tours after that ribbon cutting if folks want to come in the building then.
It's a lot.
Yeah. We are asking a lot of things of people right now. I realize that. Sorry, it's just happening all collectively. And also, Ashley and I just did this month's Junction City News on Monday night and talked a bit more about all those things I just said as well, if people want to check that out.
Well, the good news is that in between doing all of those things, you can eat, drink, and be merry.
Yes.
So it's all good. It is all good. Any counselor comments?
I'm just gonna tip the hat again to everyone that made Meet Me on Main a huge hit, but I also want to say that Saturday at Maple Street Park, 9 noon, is Construction Junction. So you can make it all things Essex Junction here on Saturday. That's a great event that they do every year down there. So I just want to put a little plug in for that.
Bring the kids.
Yep.
That's exactly it. They do a fantastic job down there every year. It's so much fun. There's Touch a Truck, all sorts of activities for the littles. It's a great time.
There's also, sorry, on also on Saturday.
Again, just hang out in the city
Yeah.
of Essex Junction all day.
Brownell is having a repair cafe, which I think is one of the coolest things that you can come if you've got anything that's near and dear to you that you want to make work that isn't working right now, you can check out their website and get scheduled to come in and see if you can get it fixed.
Nice.
Busy weekends.
Marcus, anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Brian? Elaine, anything? Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting then.
I will move to adjourn.
I'll second.
You guys are on a roll tonight. All right. You get it last time, maybe.
We got it
Yeah,
this
okay.
time. We made eye contact.
Okay. All right.
We're getting better.
We
All-
misread it. I misread it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you everyone for joining us.